All right, last two problems. It's the second time I'm recording this video because first time I feel like I did a disservice on one of the questions, so just doing it again. I'm going to get through this question very quickly. So hopefully you've tried it yourself. Windshield wiper blades, blade farthest to the left is going to be considered a negative value. So we are going to go to the left 0.75. We're going to the right 0.75. This will be 0. I should be doing this work over here. At t equals 0 seconds, we are furthest to the left. At t equals 2 seconds, we're furthest to the right. I'm going to put this point as the t equals 0. I'm going to go back in time. Obviously, this is going to be 1 second, and this will be negative 1 second. You can see half my period is 2 seconds, so my entire period is 4 seconds. So remembering that, we can see our y values based on that. Cool. A, B, C, and D. If the period's 4, B is 2 pi over P, pi over 2. Oh, I messed up. 1 second. It's back to the left at 2 seconds. So the period's 2. Sorry. This is 1. This is a half. This is negative half. This is negative 1. Okay, cool. So the period is 2. It takes 2 seconds. 1 second for half the period, 2 seconds, negative 1 to 1. So the period's 2. So B is pi. If I'm going to start at J, I don't have to shift things left and right, so I can keep C as 0. However, I start at the minimum, so I need a negative A. The amplitude is 0.75. Wait, I'm using sine, not cosine. So I can either start at K or at G. K is at 0.5, so I'm going to start at 0.5. That way I have a positive amplitude. Other options I'll write down. But C would have to be negative 0.5 if you have T plus 0.5. No. T minus 0.5 means I'm shifting to the right 0.5. So C is negative 0.5 if I use that, and then D is 0. If I wanted an alternate form, you could start at point G. Point G is at negative 0.5, which means the equation would be T plus 0.5. That would shift things to the left 0.5. So I could do a plus 0.5 if I use a negative amplitude. Pi and D will stay the same. Okay, now between the points G and J, you can see the y values are negative. This is not that the function is decreasing. It's that the y values are negative. The function is also decreasing. That's why D is the correct answer. How is the rate of change changing? So D is the correct answer. How is the rate of change changing? Easiest answer is that the rates are increasing. The most complete answer would be since H is decreasing concave up, the rates of H are negative and increasing. Now let's get to the the question that foils everybody and, messed me up a little bit earlier, this question. I just want to talk about, like, maybe this is what they're looking for, but I don't think so. Anyways, let's go into G equaling 27. I would show a bunch of work here. Now, like, I don't know. Seems like all of these problems are worth 1 point, except for this problem, which is worth 2 points, which, I don't know how they distinguish the 2 points for that, but use exponent rules. When you're multiplying, you add the exponents. You can take the log base 3 of both sides. However, you need to know that the log base 3 of 27 is 3. Or you could rewrite things in terms of a 3 to a power, 3 cubed. Now we can equate our exponents. Subtract 4, divide by 3. 2 tan squared. Oh, excuse me. Tan squared. Ooh. 2 tan squared x minus 1 equals 5. I'm going to add 1, divide by 2, and I get 3. When you square root to solve an equation, don't forget your plus or minus. Tangent equaling root 3. I have two possibilities in my brain. I have the tall 30, 60, 90 triangle. I have the short 30, 60, 90 triangle. I think about tangent being opposite over adjacent in the SOHCAHTOA. One last SOHCAHTOA. Shout out to the Toa. Opposite over adjacent. Okay, this is going to be root 3 versus if I did the opposite over adjacent, the Oa. Here, I would get 1 over root 3 or root 3 over 3. So this is my winning triangle. This winning triangle is my tall 30, 60, 90 triangle, which occurs at the pi over 3s. And the pi over 3s in all of the quadrants where tangent is positive or negative. So that's 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3. Don't say 3 pi over 3. 4 pi over 3, and 5 pi over 3. Double check, guys. Interval 0 to 2 pi, it doesn't ask for all of the input values. If it asks for all of the input values, I could just say these 4 plus 2 pi n, where n is an integer. That's fine. You can just say pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3 plus pi n. That's fine. They're both fine. Okay, no negative exponents and a single logarithm expression. It should be log base 10 expression, which means we don't want any numbers in front. I can do this all in one step. If you can't, that's okay. I bring this exponent up. I put the x and the 3 down. The subtraction is dividing. If you have two things subtracted, two things are being divided, which means they both end up in the denominator. I would not try to simplify this at all because you can't. All right, to the question of the day. This silly question about k, rewriting it as a involving secant and no other trig functions. Here's the answer to what they give you. And here's what I actually think they were trying to ask. We'll start with what they're giving us. Let's say we like to start out by rewriting tangent as sine and cotangent as cosine over sine. Let's say we like to rewrite cosecant as 1 over sine, and we start simplifying. We get sine over cosine. Dividing by cosecant is actually the same as multiplying by sine. So like cosecant in the bottom could turn into sine in the top right away. And we get the sine in the top, which means we get this sine squared over cosine. Now, I don't like this. Doesn't feel like secant. It's like tangent times secant. Secant tangent. You'll see that in your future. So I need just cosines so that I have secants. So I can take this and replace it with 1 minus cosine. Remember that sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared. I'm going to do that. But then I read like the question a little bit, and it says it's got to be a fraction. So here's what I'm thinking. Cosine can be moved up to the top to be a secant, and then I could have this 1 minus cosine squared here. But cosine squared here can actually be turned into a secant squared down here. I'm going to distribute the secant, and I get secant x minus 1 over secant x. Now, that's not what they're looking for because it's not one fraction. So I could turn this into a secant squared over a secant so that I have a common denominator, which gives me my final answer, secant squared x minus 1 over secant x. I don't think this is a type of problem that they would require you to, or type of answer that they require you to get to. That is the answer. And I could be wrong. I can't wait to see the free response questions once they're released, which is a couple days after the test. So this is what I think you can, is maybe what they're looking for. Rather, I'm going to change the question. And I said, this should be a sine. Now, if that is a sine, here's what happens.
Am I good to like stay third all the way through fourth to take both parts
What's
of the
up,
Precalc
Mr. Messer?
test?
I'm recording a video.
Oh.
Yes,
Third all the way through fourth to take both parts because
because you're going to be out.
I'm gonna
Great.
need a test.
Yes,
Okay, I'm also a seminar, but can I do it the next day, not that day?
sure.
And be able to pause that and go over 17 questions on the math thing?
17 questions?
Well, just like 1 through 17. Like that's all I've done. And I just want to see if I'm right. Is there a key somewhere?
Yes, I put the videos. I've always put videos together.
There's videos for the thing we're doing right now?
The practice test?
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't even check. I was saying
So sorry. I just started last period.
You didn't even check.
87 questions.
If you put sine on the
It's
bottom,
not actually 87.
it's not 87
First
questions.
ones are like 24 questions.
It's an actual practice test,
Wait, what do you mean?
which means there's 28 no calculator questions. There's 12 calculator questions. The numbering changes so people don't get confused.
Oh.
So I was scared at first.
There it
So
is.
it's not that bad. So I'm like,
Is the test tomorrow all multiple choice and then the next one is free response? Or
We
is
will
it-
only have time tomorrow to do the no calculator multiple choice because it's an hour, 20 minutes.
Okay.
The following class period will be the calculator multiple choice and the free response.
I feel like it's gonna be pretty easy to get a 5.
So are we?
I don't know. Not after grading your free response.
Oh yeah.
I did good. I got 20 out of 24.
I should.
But the free response also isn't the multiple. Like it's different. The multiple choice, everybody did good, right?
Multiple choice. Is it gonna
Not everybody did well in the multiple choice.
Are we gonna have the curve for the actual test?
Yes.
I thought it was. Yeah. Was it's 9? But I thought everything was easy.
I'm not really commenting through. This is what you do. You x minus 2 cubed. You don't take x minus 2 and cube it. You multiply. Power to a power, you multiply. We did this a bunch. Dividing, you subtract. If you subtract -6, it's plus 9. I'm going to turn this into 2 to the -4th. I'm going to equate the powers, and that's my last video.
Alright, catch you tomorrow.
Do that practice test.
How many questions is the actual test going to be?
It's the exact same as the actual AP exam.
What?
So it's the exact same as the length of your practice test. No. 28 multiple choice, no calculator. 12 multiple choice calculator. 2 free response calculator, 2 free response, no calculator.
Whoa, what? Tomorrow?
No. Tomorrow, we are just doing
Multiple choice,
the
no
multiple choice,
I
no
understand.
calculator part.
How many can you get wrong and get a 5? Like 10?
65% is a 5. Do the math.
I can't do that math.
28 times 0.65. Do it. Or 40 times 0.65.
You have to get 18.2 right.
18, right?
Oh my gosh.
That didn't add up. So you got 26. Do
Later,
22
later,
minus
Lake Travis.
That's how many you can get wrong. 26. You can get 6